Hey everyone, Rob J here, and welcome to the Nova. Today we're going to talk about Game Ground for the Sega Genesis. It's an action strategy game that I guarantee you haven't heard of. It's a pretty obscure game in the Sega Genesis library. But let's talk about the story, because it's even more obscure. It's wild, it's crazy. Let's discuss. In the year 3000 AD, the human race has eliminated poverty, war, and discrimination. Everything is at peace. But they've created their own crisis. They have no idea how to defend themselves or how to survive a major holocaust. So what they do is they create a computer simulated program called Game Ground, which helps them to prepare for said events. Now, during the testing, this program goes berserk and captures all of its creators. The government sends wave after wave of rescue parties, and all these rescue parties fail. Now it's up to these three brave soldiers that you control in the end to save the day. So again, it's a pretty wild story. Okay, it's kind of on the lines of Kid Chameleon, now that I'm talking about it. Do you not see a similarity to Kid Chameleon? Anyways, so let's talk about the gameplay. You start off with 3 characters. Each of these characters have only 2 attacks. One is a basic attack and one is a special attack. You start off with a spear guy who can throw his spear, and he can also, for his basic attack, and then he can throw his spear at a higher elevation. Now this helps against characters who are on roofs or who are on towers, like on walls. So you can take out those characters. Your second character can shoot in all directions, and she can throw bombs. But she can only throw bombs in front of her. She can't throw bombs on diagonals or behind her. It's only in front. That kind of sucks, but she does become useful, as that bomb blast is pretty powerful. And, you know, it's a good attack. I don't know how powerful it is, really. I feel like it does the same amount of damage as anything else, but I think it's got a wide radius. And you also have this basic trooper who can shoot, and his special attack is that he can shoot. I don't know what his special move is. I tried both buttons and they seem like the same. I guess he can shoot faster or he can walk faster. I don't know. I feel like you're going to come across maybe 2 or 3 of these characters in the game. But again, there's 20 characters and I feel like I've only ever collected 10 to 11. So if you do come across characters that are the same, let me know in the comments below. Like, you know, have no difference in attack styles. It's just the same. But anyways, you start off with those 3 characters and you go through each of these stages. Now it's stage 1 with round 1, round 2, round 3. I think it goes up to 9 rounds per stage. And with these characters, you can rescue other characters, and as you rescue these characters, you have to get them to the end zone. If you were to rescue this character, you know, on the battlefield and kill every enemy on the screen, you're not going to acquire that character in your inventory. To me, that makes sense to say inventory. So I didn't know this as I was playing it for the first time. I was like, okay, I got the character and I killed everyone on screen. And then I'm like going to a new stage, and I'm like, why can't I select this new character that I rescued? Well, it's because I didn't bring that character to the end zone. So just remember that. End zone. Rescue a character, bring them to the end zone. That's it. But anyways, you have the option though to kill every character on screen, or bring all your characters to the end zone. I can't imagine bringing 20 characters to the end zone. I think that'd be quite a challenge, but I wouldn't want to do that in order to progress to the next stage. So let's not do that. And I'm sorry if I interchange stage and round. You know what I mean. I'm going to try and say stage more often. It comes off so natural to say round, but I'm going to try and stick to saying stage. Anyways, that's the whole core of the gameplay, is that you pick a character, you either kill every enemy on screen, or you rescue the characters that you see on screen so you can use them going forward, or you bring every character to the end zone. It's up to you. But the strategy behind each stage is quite different, because you're going to notice that some characters excel more than others. I found there were some characters who I kind of stuck to, as I'm like, I need to have this character alive all the way through. And it was the girl who could throw bombs. There was this crossbow guy, because his attack is fast, And also his secondary attack, like his special attack, can shoot on a different elevation, which he can shoot higher. So that really helps against those characters on roofs. And of course, it's fast and it can go a bit further distance than I noticed, but I could be wrong. But he's like my go-to character. Same with the girl with the bombs. There's this Fire Knight who can create like a force field around him where any melee character who goes up against them and that little projectile that's circling them hits them, they'll instantly die. And also, I think it blocks projectiles. I've seen it do that. Sometimes I feel like it doesn't. But he's also pretty quick and he's got a quick attack, and he's one of my favorite characters as well. Now, there are some characters who I'm just like, why even add this person to the game? It doesn't make any sense. I guess that's the whole point of the strategy behind the game, is that you need to know which character to use on a certain stage. And the only way in doing that is by trial and error. So you're going to have to get familiar with these characters pretty quickly, and when you lose a character, it's going to suck because you're like, no, this character was perfect. I loved using them. They're so versatile, and they're going to end up with these really shitty characters who you're going to be like, what do I use them for? They suck in this stage, they suck in, round, they suck in this round, they suck in this round, why can't I use them? And that's going to happen. I guarantee that's going to happen to you. It's going to happen. You just wait. I'm not being negative, but it's going to happen because the game is quite difficult. And you're going to have to prepare and use every character and just understand them. I mean, of course, you can go on wikis and game FAQs and be like, okay, this is what this character does, and this is what this character does, but it's only by trial and error that, you get to use them and understand their special ability. Like there's one character who can shoot like this weird spinning waterfall, which kind of temporarily disables enemies, in its stationary path, if that makes sense. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. But there's other characters where he shoots a fireball and it waits to erupt, and I'm like, well, that would have been cool to know before I shut off and banking on my survival. And I did come across bosses in this game, and they're not too difficult. Well, I came across the first stage boss because the game is difficult, and like the game is long. It's very long, and I wish it had a password system. And I wouldn't have cared if you start off with those three main characters if you were to go to stage 2, but again, this is a game where it was ported from an arcade, so I can understand why it didn't have a password system, but Sega could have used their magic and they could have added a password system, or could have added like a little battery pack saver. I don't know why, but I can see why the game didn't get so popular, because I feel like it's got untapped potential in there. It's almost too basic. It's almost too simple. If they just added one little more element of flavor, one little bit more of a buzzword like pow, kablam, it would have been so much better. Like, I feel that having 2 attacks makes the game a little bit boring. Like, why not, instead of having 20 characters, why not have like 5 really good characters, or like, collect power-ups throughout the game? But I guess they wanted to try something new, and this was their idea. I do love Game Ground, don't get me wrong, and I'm surprised it hasn't been remastered or have a remake, which kind of sucks. Again, I'm going to sound like a broken record. It's got a lot of untapped potential, and, it's too bad it was never remade for, a new generation console. It's too bad. And this game nowadays, for the Sega Genesis, trying to acquire it in the wild, it's so obscure. I was so lucky to find it for $25 to $30 because this guy was selling a bunch of Sega Genesis games, and he had some obscure games, and I'm like, whoa, what's this Game Ground? What's this God's game? And he sold me each of them, I think so Game Ground was $25, $30, Gods was $20, and then he sold me Eternal Champions for $10, and I'm like, this is such a steal. And back in the day when I was collecting, I'm still collecting, just very rarely now. I was looking for obscure games, and I was like, I gotta get this game. This game is pretty darn obscure. And I look on eBay now, it's a fortune. It's like, well, not a fortune. It's $75 to $150 that I've seen on eBay, and I'm like, you're not gonna find this game in the wild. It's a very small chance because it's so rare. It's really rare now, and I have it with the case, but no manual. I had to look at the manual online, and that's how I figured out about the story, the really obscure and wild story. And would I recommend buying this game? Yes, but you're going to have a hard time finding it. But it's a really cool action strategy game, which I'm not used to. And it kind of reminds me of mobile games a little bit, because think about this. You're going to each stage and you're clearing all enemies, and you're going to new stages where you can acquire, new heroes to use in your party, in your inventory. I don't know why I said inventory. Party would have been better, but anyways. And that's similar to a mobile game where you have to complete stages to get points to get, new characters. So it's kind of cool to see those similarities between Game Ground and a mobile game. I know it's very tiny, but it's still there. It's still there. But go play this game. It's a long game, remember, so you might not be able to defeat it all in one sitting. If you want to beat this game, I think you're probably going to have to invest at least maybe 2 hours, 3 max, I think. And, good luck trying to acquire all 20 characters. I don't think anyone can do that, but if you can, you're awesome. Go and buy the game if you can. Go do it. I recommend it. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you liked what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm Rob J. Thank you for entering the Nova, and I'll see you next time. Take care.